on the Harford Cable Network. Brought to you as always by Brown, Brown & Brown, also by BGE and Upper Chesapeake Health System. I'm Don Morrison. Tonight we are in Havre Grace. It's the Havre Grace Warriors hosting the John Carroll Patriots Game 2 of the 1995 season. With me, Coach Tom Marin, known far and wide as the Dean of Coaches in Harford County. You get that title for coaching 28 years.
Longevity. I think that you get that with being for, decades of coaching, and also maybe 2 generations.
Coach Tom Marin, of course, you've coached the Havre Grace Warriors 4 years, went to Joppatown for 16 years, and back here now for the last 8 years at Havre Grace. You won 2 state titles with the Joppatown Mariners. You've had some great teams over the years. When you look at young athletes and football, has anything changed in all those years?
The kids are basically the same. Right now at Havre Grace, we're starting to get into a growth spurt, and I would look in the future to put ourselves in the playoff picture again.
Coach, we're talking about tonight's game against the John Carroll Patriots. You coming off a real tough loss last weekend against your arch rival Perryville. How does that take out of a team, or do you just build for the next game?
Well, I think it's taken a little out of us in that it's taken JR out of the game, a good player that got ejected. And the reason why I mention his name is it isn't in a derogatory way. He kind of just got upset with only 3 seconds to go in the game and questioned the call of the official and was ejected, and that means he can't play this week. And he is, at this point in time, the best offensive player we have on our team. So that's going to hurt us a little bit, although we do have 2 boys back off of discipline suspension that should help us. We are going to be improved from the way we played last week, but our opponent is a much better opponent than that beat us last week too.
We think about John Carroll. We think about Rob Stangle, their great tight end and defensive safety. We've been watching him hit field goals from 50 yards out here in the pregame warm-up. You have a lot of respect for this young man.
And I saw him play last week, and he's definitely a college prospect. As an end, he just jumped up and he took the ball away from Bishop Walsher, I think that's the name of the school, and he's a tremendous punter and kicker. And of course they have Bill Lort, who is a real tough fullback and elite blocker, and we got to somehow keep him off our linebackers or they'll put a big hurt on us. I know that John Carroll is the confidence factor of tonight's game is going to be a big story. Whether we have it, I know that John Carroll has it. My daughter Leah goes there, and she tells me the football players are telling her that Havre Grace is going to be in for trouble tonight. So I know they have the confidence. I hope our kids have the confidence to bounce back after the loss.
When we look at a key to tonight's game, you talked about containing Stangle, containing Lord. Is there anything else that the fans can look for early in the ball game to figure out who's going to be on top?
Well, one thing you have to remember about John Carroll, you're not going to out-position him. So no matter what we do to outflank them, they're going to counter. They're that well coached. They're that well disciplined. That was with Jerry Gray. That was with Ray Fino and the coaches last year. So they're going to give us a lot of problems along those lines. But maybe if our passing game can go and our options, we might be able to give them a contest.
Well, Coach Tom Marin, we certainly wish you the best of luck tonight, and thanks for being on our show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. For kickoff here at the Havre Grace High School, it's the John Carroll Patriots taking on Havre Grace, second game of the year for both teams. Coach Bill Mackley, back with John Carroll. Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much, and it's such a great honor and great pleasure to be back in Harford County.
You had a great stint at John Carroll before. Is it just like it was when you left?
Well, I wish it was, but no, it's not. I think we're in a rebuilding stage, and the whole school has what we call a new beginning over there, a new attitude, a very spirited attitude, and I can say this, that the administration, the faculty, and the students are really behind all the programs over there. So it's all a new beginning.
You're coming off a loss last week against a very good Bishop Walsh team. This week you have Havre Grace at home against Havre Grace. They're coming off a tough loss against Perryville. What do you think about the emotional aspect of this game?
Well, I watched the game last week between Havre Grace and Perryville, and to be honest with you, that was a tough loss for the young guys. And I thought with the speed they have, they're going to be tough to stop. They've got some excellent speed, and I always say speed has a tendency to kill.
Rob Stangl, one of the players that we rate as one of the top players in the league. Tell us a bit about your tight end.
Well, that young man, I can tell you, he is top. I've been coaching 28 years, and to be honest with you, he's probably a Division I candidate that we have. I would rank him probably one of the better athletes I've had the pleasure of being around. And I can tell you, his attitude and his grades are excellent. He's just a well-rounded young man.
When you look at what you have to do against Havre Grace, a speed team, a team with Billy Jackson, three quarterback, just a team that has a lot of weapons, what do you need to do against a team like that?
Well, the main thing is I think we have a tendency when we're inexperienced like this, we have a tendency to over-pursue. I think that we have to hold our ground to make sure that these kids don't get into the big game. I think you have to be cautious of the element of surprise, and this young quarterback can roll all over the place and throw the football. So we have to make sure our people stay home.
And Coach, when you look at your team not playing any other teams except Havre Grace in the league this year, is this a big game for you to see that you can beat a team in Harford County?
Well, you know, we've had the opportunity to scrimmage Falston and Belair, so I think, you know, our Harford County roots are trying to keep intact. I have to say that, yeah, because I came from the MSA League, and to be honest with you, Harford County football is excellent football. You know, that's something that people haven't missed. I'll tell you right now, Harford County football is excellent football.
Coach, if we're looking for a key in this ball game tonight, early on, what will be the key to the game?
Well, I think the biggest thing, who controls the line of scrimmage. I think if we can get up on top and control the line of scrimmage, and I think that's our defense. Our defense, I think, has to establish themselves also.
Coach Bill Mackley, we wish you the best of luck tonight, and you know, stay tuned to Harford County football, and hopefully someday you'll be back in our league.
Well, thank you very much, and I just say it's a pleasure to be home.
Thank you very much. And we'll take a minute break here and come back in just a couple of moments with the kickoff of tonight's game, Havre Grace hosting John Carroll. Well, welcome into week 2 of the Harford County High School football season on the Harford Cable Network. Football brought to you every Monday night this season by Brown, Brown & Brown, by BGE, and by the Upper Chesapeake Health System. We're at Havre Grace High School. You just watched the Havre Grace band and listened to them as they played the national anthem. My partner, Forrest Wiest. Forrest, we're in for a game tonight that kind of matches the tortoise against the hare.
That's correct, Don, and I think, you know, they often say some things never change, and I think that's going to be the case tonight. We have the Havre Grace Warriors with their good skill position players and their speed versus the John Carroll Patriots with their precision, superior size overall, and the type of attack that's going to try to rely on ball control and march the ball down the field.
And of course, they also have a young man by the name of Ryan Stangl, Ryan, number 80, the tight end. His coach, Bill Mackley, told us before the game, in 28 years of coaching, he may be the best player he's ever had and the number 1 top college prospect that he's coached. He can do it all.
That's what Coach says, and we remember from last year that he was a great player for John Carroll as a junior, and I think this year they're depending very, very much on him this year to do a lot of things, not only to play defense and catch the football on offense, but also he does a lot of their kicking chores and has an excellent, excellent foot.
Well, we look at him 6'3", 200 pounds. He's the kind of guy that has good speed, has great hands, has good size. He's got the whole package. And before the ball game, we watched his left-footed place kicking. He was hitting them from 40 yards out with 20 yards to spare. This young man has it all.
I'll tell you, and that is important to have in high school football. Many times teams will play without a kicker. And when John Carroll gets into some of those close games, that field goal potential can spell the difference. And if we think about last year we had a real close game between the Warriors and the Patriots. And if we remember that game, it was a type of game where Havre Grace made some big plays and John Carroll controlled the ball much of the time, much of what we expect to see tonight. The Warriors were victors in that game, and that game, I believe, came down to could have come down to a field goal or a close margin, so maybe that'll be the case tonight.
The other thing, too, about this ball game, both these teams coming off losses the first week of the season. Havre Grace an extremely tough loss against their arch rivals Perryville from across the river, losing by 24-22. Not only did they lose the ball game, but they lost J.R. Clark. J.R. Clark, one of their top two-way players, who unfortunately at the end of the ball game got very excited about a tough call that ended up being the call that meant the ball game. He was kicked out of that ball game, and in the high school rules, coach, as you know, that means he can't play this week.
That's correct, Don, and he's going to be sorely missed tonight. As we stated, Havre Grace depends a lot on their good skill players, and a player of Clark's magnitude is a player that they really can't do without. So we're going to have to see who replaces him tonight, and that particular person is going to have to do an outstanding job.
You know, the other hand, though, Billy Jackson just being announced here by the field announcer. He's a three-quarterback. So the Warriors are not without weapons.
They're not without weapons. He's a great one. He can do a lot of things, and last year with Clark and last game with Clark and a few of the other skill position players they have, they can make that hit that home run, make that big play take place almost at any time. However, tonight, like we said, he's without Clark, so everybody's going to have to dig a little bit deeper. The other skill players are going to have to play a little bit harder. That line is maybe going to have to sustain a little bit longer.
They've got a lot of young men who are coming back off last year's 2-8 team. People like Lenny Parrish, their offensive tackle. He punts, he does the extra points for them. Stephen Stewart, another offensive tackle. T.J. Wilson, a guard, and Brian Trapani, also an offensive back. Then they have Ryan Stangle that we've talked about, the co-captain who plays offense, he plays defense, he kicks off, he kicks the field goals, he does everything, he punts, he does the punt returning. I think he brings the water on the field at halftime, does everything you want him to do. Brian Barrett, their senior co-captain, offensive tailback. Mike Abramitis, also an extremely good player, but the guy who may make the difference, and I'm going to go out on a limb, I think Bill Lort may make the difference tonight, the big fullback for John Carroll.
He may. The key thing, I think, with John Carroll, we remember that game last year. We did the game at John Carroll last year, and it was a very hotly contested game, very close game with the Warriors winning. I think tonight the major difference that we're going to see is that John Carroll squad that we watched last year is just a year smarter, a year with 1 year with more experience. That may make the difference here tonight.
And of course, Bill Mackley. Let's not take away anything from the coaches at John Carroll in previous years, but Bill Mackley, when he was here the first time with John Carroll, was 40-20. He comes back with some great success at Calvert Hall. He's just that kind of coach that has the Midas touch.
Well, Bill is an excellent coach, and I can attest to that because I had the privilege of coaching against Bill when I coached for Edgewood. I have a lot of respect for him, and normally I would say that when a new coach comes into a program, a lot of times it takes a few games for the kids to adapt to his terminology and the things he likes to do. However, a plus for John Carroll is that they have retained some of their assistant coaches and maybe made that bridge from one coaching staff to another a little bit easier for the kids.
Coach, you're watching the pregame toss of the coin. Ben Needs, the big tackle for Havre Grace. You'll notice they're dressed in their gold home uniforms with the maroon pants, along with Bill Jackson. Meantime, for John Carroll, Brian Barrett is the number 22. The number 55 you see is Chris Nesbitt. Also, the 80 that you see on your right that's Ryan Stangle. That is the outstanding tight end, and I can't make out the other number. Maybe as soon as Ben Needs moves that big body, we'll be able to see who that other John Carroll individual is. The officials, while we have just a moment, that's Chuck Dowds who's tossing the coin, saying that John Carroll has won the toss but has deferred, meaning that they'll get the chance to choose in the second half. Coach, tell me about that. Why would you, if you win the toss, why would you defer?
Well, many times you want to defer because you want the choice to begin the second half, depending on what the score is in the situation in the ball game. By deferring, you get your choice in the second half, and most coaches will elect to do that because depending on what does occur during the first half, you can adapt and make some revisions at halftime in the locker room, and then come out the second half, take the ball if you so desire, and make things happen for your ball club.
Well, the other gentleman we couldn't introduce and couldn't identify was Bill Lort for John Carroll, the other co-captain. You had a chance to see Havre Grace gathered around their 28-year head coach in the league. That was Tom Marin. You're watching them now in the gold uniforms getting ready. You had a chance just before to see John Carroll dressed in their white visiting uniforms. And if you notice a resemblance to Notre Dame, that's not without, let's say that's not by chance, Coach.
No, I don't think it is. John Carroll teams for years were coached by a man named Jerry Gray, who was a graduate of Notre Dame, and maybe in a lot of respects have become the little Notre Dame of Harford County.
Well, let's see how they do here as they'll be kicking off. It looks like big number 74, that's Lenny Parrish, who will be meeting the ball. No, check it, he's just counting the linemen. It'll be Ryan Stangle, the young man who'll do it all for John Carroll tonight. He'll meet it left-footed, and if it's anything the way we saw him kick the ball, he'll be meeting it from the 40-yard line. And the receivers for Havre Grace deep to receive, number 33 in the goal. Well, let's see. Let's check. It's number 20. That's Wilbur Ballard, along with number 33. And I don't have a 33 on my program. Let's see who that might be if they've added it late.
Tim Wilson.
Yeah, that's Timmy Wilson. He's changed his number, so it'll be
and Billy Jackson on the far side.
Billy Jackson. Here's the kick. It's down the middle, over the head, and into the end zone. No, coming out with it now. Making one block and turning the corner. He's going to be out. That was Ballard returning the ball, and he was taken down by number 23, Brian Trapani. Deep territory. It'll take us a while to get these yard markers down. Looks like it might be on about the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors on their own 17-yard line.
Ball in play at the 17. Starting quarterback is Billy Jackson. Also, Dwight Rabb is the fullback. The deep back is Al Mann. We'll be talking about Al Mann the entire game. 6'1", 180. He's only a junior. He was one of the leaders for the Warriors last year as a sophomore. John Carroll in that 6-man line that they like to play. The I backfield for Havre Grace. The give is to Mann. Good hole off the right side. Gets good yardage before he's finally wrapped up and taken down by Andrew Quinn.
That was a straight lead play, or a blast, in which case the fullback led up through the middle, blocked the linebacker, and opened up a nice hole for the tailback Al Mann to carry the ball.
Picked up 10 yards on that. That's good for a first down, and the Warriors have done a nice job. Nice hole for Al Mann to run through. Again, the same I backfield deployment. Wide receiver to the near side is Wilson.
John Carroll's in an even front, Don, on defense.
Give us to Mann off the left side. This time, not a whole lot happening on that side.
Mann on the carry again for Havre Grace.
Hit as he enters the hole.
2nd down and 9 for the Warriors.
Hit by Bill Lort. Bill Lort, another one of those two-way players for John Carroll. Very little gain. It'll bring up 2nd down, about 9.5 yards to go.
I mentioned that John Carroll was an even front. I want to say that when I say an even front, I mean that they're in a 4-man front or a 6-man front. Many times we say a 6-man front, but they walk the linebacker out or drop him back a little bit that shows a 4-man front.
Jackson, a quick pop is complete. That's
reception for Havre Grace.
He's about 2 yards short of the first down. It's a little pop pass that time. They released the tight end, and Billy Wilson just raised up, and Billy Jackson just raised up and popped the ball over the line, hit his tight end with the ball, and picked up about 7 or 8 yards on the play.
We'll bring up 3rd down and short, about 3rd and 2.5. Backfield split off to the left side this time. Man, the deep back. 1 man to beat. Stangle chasing him, and Stangle takes him out of bounds as he crosses midfield stripe down into John Carroll territory.
Well, I was about to say it, Don. I think an important thing that the Havre Grace Warriors have to do tonight is that they have to get Jackson outside. That time he went to his left on the option play where he had the option to pitch the ball back to Mann or keep the ball. He kept the ball and cut it back against the grain, picked up about 20 yards on the play, and he was about one step from breaking out all the way.
Good speed by Stangl, too, to catch him and pull him out of bounds. Right up the middle, good yardage.
Nice hole off the right side. Again, that was the same play we saw the first play of the game. Again, it picked up about 7 or 8 yards.
That's Wilbur Ballard. Now, we were told before the ball game that he's just won a bench press competition. He bench presses over 300 pounds, Coach. That's not bad.
That is excellent, and you can tell at me it's good upper body strength, and I think we're going to see several tailbacks in the game tonight for the Warriors.
Yeah, back in the ball game is Al Mann at the tailback.
Ballard
up for grabs, hang off the interception. The
Warriors had a receiver behind Stangl, and I think that's who Jackson he was ready to throw the ball. It looked like one of the Patriots, and I didn't get the number, grabbed him by the back of the shirt and was pulling on his shirt, and that caused his pass to come up way short. And
could have been Lenny.
was able to intercept the ball.
I think it could have been Lenny Parrish. Now, that was a jump ball situation down there. Nice pass by Jackson. Pressberry had a chance to get it, but Stangl just out.
Stangl had good position, Don, and at 6'3", he was able to get up and get the football.
We have a flag that looks like some sort of a procedure call. Chance to talk about the John Carroll Patriots. Looks like they'll start with their junior quarterback, 6'2", 200-pound junior is Brad Meerholtz. Looks like Havre Grace is going to be called for an infraction, perhaps encroachment.
Perhaps it was encroachment. I would think that may be the case. And right here, Don, I think we're going to, the big test now for the Warriors defensively is, are they going to be able to stop that John Carroll precision, a team that just wants to sit on that ball, eat a lot of clock, and knock off 4 or 5 yards at a clip. We have another encroachment there on the Warriors.
As a coach, honestly, to see your team come out fired up, it looks like Havre Grace may be just a bit too fired up right now.
They may be, and for the fans, encroachment is simply a case where there's an imaginary area between the end of the football and the defensive line, and that area cannot be encroached upon till the ball is snapped, and either by the barking of the signals by the John Carroll quarterback or whatever the case might be, the Warriors are a little fidgety and have jumped twice in a row.
Meerholtz gives the ball off on first down. Not a whole lot happening. 23, Brian Trapani.
Brian Trapani on the carry for John
Picks up
Carroll.
maybe 2 yards up to the 20-yard line. Patriot drive started back on the 7-yard line. Picked up a first down on 2 penalties, and now they pick up 2 yards on their first play from scrimmage.
Now what John Carroll's going to try to do offensively is control the football and try to eat up a lot of time in ground, like getting that 3 and 4 and that 5-yard carry from their fullback Bill Lord and their tailbacks.
Meerholtz gives the ball off to Lord. Check it, it's not Lord, but it's number 36 instead, and that's Mark Abramitis.
On the tackle for the Warriors.
He's going to pick up maybe 3 yards, leave him about, looks like 3 yards short of the first down.
Nice gain, Don, that time. He picked up about, like you said, about 4 or 5 yards, and looked like it was a quick opener or a trap, and the ball carrier Abramitis went right up the middle with it.
I'd like to keep the field just a bit. In motion is Barrett. Looking, has a man. It's going to be intercepted, though. Taken away by Wilson. Wilson could go. He's down the sideline and finally out of bounds. Out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Again, we had play action pass that time by Meerholtz. He showed option for a minute and then dropped back into a passing position and threw the ball.
Tim Wilson made an excellent defensive play, kind of stayed off the player, and then just as Meerholtz released it, he jumped in there and took the ball away.
Havre Grace was in a zone that time, I believe, because Wilson had underneath coverage, and with the ball was short, he was able to read the eyes of the quarterback and make a good break on the football.
Right up the middle. That's Al Mann. The ball starting at about the 20, check at the 17-yard line. Mann will pick up 2 or 3, get it down to 15.
And that time Patriots stopped it for
Stangle intercepting for John Carroll, and returning the favor Timmy Wilson for Havre Grace.
Havre Grace is in a wing T formation.
Jackson over the middle has his man Pressberry.
That's a touchdown.
Touchdown! No flags, and Havre Grace has jumped on top. 6 minutes, 18 seconds left in the first period. They lead by 6-0.
That was once before. The last time they threw it, they picked up about 7 yards on it, and this time Billy Jackson just raised up and popped that ball over the middle, and the receiver there caught the ball and picked up about 15.
So the Warriors convert the interception by Tim Wilson, and now they're going to go two. Left hit in. Right. Fakes one man, is going to get in for the two-point conversion, and Billy Jackson did all that on his own, Coach.
You're exactly right, Don. He dropped back to pass, couldn't find anybody open. He had about 4 receivers out on the play. Scrambled around back there and then finally took off and beat his pursuit to the right corner of the end zone for the two-point conversion. Now, one thing that we want to keep in mind is we know Billy Jackson is a terrific player, and we know that the Warriors are going to depend on him a lot this evening. However, what we got to question is, can Billy Jackson play both ways in this football game and have the strength and the wherewithal to play 48 minutes of football? It's easy to scramble around it back there and use that superior speed and athletic ability early in the game, but what's going to be like in the fourth quarter as fatigue sets in? And this is going to be a big force tonight.
Well, Bill Jackson's one of those three-sport players, plays basketball, also plays baseball. Excellent athlete in all the sports that he plays, and a great kid as well. So if anybody can do it, but like you said, Coach, you look at his size, he's 5'10", 160. You get pounded on all game long playing both ways, you're right. And it's a warm night here. We haven't mentioned that. But on this Friday night at Havre Grace, it's probably 75 degrees, but very humid as we start this ball game.
That's true, Don. And like we said, Billy Jackson's quick. He has a lot of agility, and that agility kept him, got him free to make that run there on the two-point conversion. But again, he's got to go 48 minutes tonight.
Havre Grace will put the ball in play. They'll be kicking off from their own 40-yard line. End-over-end kick coming down and over the head of the John Carroll receiver and back into the end zone. It'll be a down there. I think that surprised the Patriots a bit, that the kicker, it looks like, what, number...
Back to John Carroll, 1st and 10.
Number
Patriots on their own 20-yard line.
58, and that would be Josh Rollman. Kicked the ball with his toe over the head of the Patriot receivers and into the end zone.
That was what I was going to comment on, Don. I don't think I've seen a straight-on kicker in probably about 10 years. Everybody's going to soccer style
Mark
now.
Mosley, does that name ring a bell with you? The old Washington Redskin.
Yeah. That does, Don, and we saw maybe a new Mark Mosley there. It's been a long time since we've seen somebody with as a straight-ahead kicker.
Well, let's see what Meerholtz can do. John Carroll starting from their own 20. Keeps the ball rolling right. Remember, he's left-handed. Tosses the ball to Stangle. Stangle receives it just as he goes out of bounds. Flag goes down. It may have been a late hit. No, now they're saying the pass was incomplete, but
there's a flag down on that play as well.
Looked like it may have been just as Meerholtz released the ball. So
I'm going across the line of scrimmage too.
That's exactly what they're saying. Yeah, they said he was across the line.
He took that handoff and rolled to his right that time. As you say, he is a left-hander, and that's hard to roll to your right and throw that way. The pattern was a flood pattern where the wide out ran a flag pattern at about 15, 20 yards. That means he went down about 15 yards and broke to the outside. And the tight end ran down and out underneath, and he tried to hit Stangle, his big tight end.
And Coach, that's one of the most severe penalties in high school football. It's a loss of down as well as loss of yardage, so it's a 5-yard penalty. Bring up a second down and 15 yards to go.
Yes, that is tough when you lose down and distance both, Don.
Stangle the tight end to the near side. The give to the deep back. Picking up good yardage.
Nice gain, about 7 or 8 yards on an isolation play off the left side.
That's Trapani. He picks back what they lost plus a couple of yards, so it'll bring up now 3rd and still about 7.
3rd and about 7 here, Don. We might look for the Patriots to run the option or perhaps throw the ball with Meerholtz throwing, rolling to his right or left.
Well, he's shown he can roll both ways and throw the ball on the run, so let's see what he comes up with
They're
here
in a
on
slot
third down.
formation with both wideouts to the right.
Instead, they give right up the middle. I think it's going to be short, though, of the first down. Carrying the ball right up the middle is big number 36, Mark Abramitis. I think he's going to be short, Coach.
It's going to be close, though, Don. They used the deception factor there. It was about 3rd and 7, and rather than throw the ball in that passing situation, they ran a quick opener with their fullback, and Haberwitz was stopped about a long yard short.
About 4:40 left in the first period. Havre Grace leading by 8-0 over John Carroll. Stangl to punt the ball away. Off the side of his foot, coming down, a good roll for John Carroll. Very, very dangerous. Timmy Wilson almost got blocked into that ball, Coach.
Yeah, one thing when the ball's rolling like that, if you're not going to pick it up, you want to stay away from it. And in that situation, Tim Wilson was very close to the ball, and if he touches it, it's a free ball for the Patriots. That's one of those things that gives the coach nightmares, Don, because you don't want to have that type of a turnover occur.
Well, a young man trying to make a big play, but as you say, most times what happens is bad things when you're running along beside the football that way. The ball's not round. It bounces in crazy directions. Jackson, the quarterback. Al Mann, the deep back. Fumble. Jackson falls on it.
But the Patriots were lucky there. Not the Patriots, I'm sorry. The Warriors were lucky there, Don. They came out in that wing tee to the right, and the ball was fumbled on the snap between the center and quarterback Bill Jackson. Where they were lucky was one of the running backs kicked the ball, and I had visions of it rolling forward 4 or 5 yards, but Jackson was quick to fall on it.
Dwight Rabb is the fullback. Al Mann is the deep back. Jackson, the quarterback, I formation. Give us to Mann. Mann off the right side. Another good hole. Breaks one tackle. Flag goes down. He's still on his feet. And finally taken down. It's that man Stangl with the tackle.
That's that same play we've seen already about 4 or 5 times, that isolation behind the right guard. And all that is, Don, is the guard blocks down, tackle turns out on the tackle, and they lead through with the fullback who blocks the linebacker, and then, of course, the tailback. In that case, Mann followed the blocker right up the middle and makes a good cut on the play. And that nice 15, 20-yard gain is going to have to be brought back now because of an illegal motion penalty.
Against the Warriors, it'll be 2nd down at 15 for Havre Grace.
Yeah, 20-yard play. Instead of being 15 yards ahead, it's 5 yards back. First, one thing I want you to comment on, Stangl hit Al Mann, who's a big guy, head-on in the backfield, and it was Mann who went backwards.
Well, that's true. And we got to remember the Stangl's a big guy at 6'3", 200 pounds. He's going to be bigger than most tailbacks he comes up against.
Jackson throwing long, Pressbury long, almost intercepted. On the ball is Mike Iche, but he's not able to bring it down.
Pressbury's a nice, tall, wide receiver and gives Jackson somebody big to throw to, but in the 2 occasions where Billy tried to go long to Pressbury, he has underthrown the ball a little bit.
Yeah, that time he had a nice head of steam. Nobody was in his face, and he was throwing the ball rolling right, but he just didn't get enough on it.
Exactly, and Pressbury had 2 steps on the defender, and the ball was just underthrown a little bit. Should have been intercepted.
Well, that'll bring up a 3rd down. 3rd down and about 13, 14 yards to go. Actually, it's
Warriors
15.
have 4 wideouts now, so we're going to see it in the air.
Jackson rolling right. He's going to keep it.
That one.
Looks like he's going to go for the first down, but might come up about a yard or so short. It's going to be close.
I don't know. It depends where they spot the ball, Don. He may have the first down.
Good feet by Bill Jackson. He had to pick up 15 yards, and they're saying first down.
Ball on the 39-yard line.
Well, Billy Jackson, I mean, what can you say? Here's a guy with the athletic ability that showed us on that 2-point conversion that he can take a nothing play, turning it into something. That time he just outran the John Carroll defense.
And also, being a 3-year quarterback, he showed experience. He had 4 wideouts, sent all of them deep, and when the underneath coverage evaporated, he was able to just roll to his right, keep the football and gain about 18 yards on play.
As far as comment, Havre Grace comes out in a multiple offense. This time they've got a spread with 2 flankers near, 2 flankers far, and 1 man behind Jackson.
Right, that's the 4 wideouts they just showed the last time, and most times when we see that, we're going to see some type of pass play.
And here it goes, right up the middle. Caught and taken down just as they caught the ball.
Al Mann in the reception.
Al Mann received the ball. taken down by Trapani. It's going to be a gain of about 4 or 5 yards.
And what we mean by that 4 wideout position, they have a double slot to each side where they have 2 split ends and 2 other receivers in the slot position with only 1 back in the backfield.
What kind of pressure does that put on a defense?
Well, what that does to a defense, it spreads the defense all over the field. And of course, when you spread the defense over the field and run people off, that gives a guy with Billy Jackson's ability all kinds of room to run.
Same formation, the open man on the near side, completed pass, and he goes out of bounds. That's John Sawyer, took the ball on the run and just had 1 man to beat.
Just to finish up our formation, what Havre Grace is doing is splitting 2 wide receivers wide either side of the field, putting 2 slot backs out there, and the 2 wide people are going deep, and the 2 slot people are running down and out patterns. And what that does to the John Carroll defense causes them to spread clear over the field and also runs their backs off, and it creates a big vacuum of open area in the middle where Jackson can either run the football if he can't find another receiver.
John Carroll 40. I think the fullback moved too soon. This play is going to come back as Wilbur Ballard picks up good yardage. Looked like the fullback went just about a half snap too soon, Coach.
That's what it was, Don. You called that one right. Just a little bit of movement before the snap of the football, and that's twice now that the Warriors are going to have to bring a nice play, a big gaining play back because of a movement call.
We talked about momentum before the ball game and keys and what we had to think about as far as who's going to win. We thought that John Carroll might be able to, with their overall size, give Havre Grace trouble. But it's been the Warriors who have been on the offensive as the first period comes to an end.
Well, that's true, Don, and the Warriors have to do that. John Carroll's a bigger squad number-wise. They're a bigger squad in overall body size. And Havre Grace is the type of team with their superior skill people and their superior speed where they're going to have to make those big plays and make those things happen early in the ball game. I think that as the game goes on, the Patriots will adapt a little bit to that speed. Also fatigue because of the lack of numbers on the Warriors and the number of players they have playing both ways will probably take its toll, and we may see a game where the Patriots take more charge of the game later in the game, whereas the superior speed and talent of the Warriors is going to be a formidable obstacle early in the ball game. So the Warriors need to do it now. They need to get those points on the board while they're fresh and while they can.
Forrest, let me make a correction. It's not the end of the first period. We still have 2 minutes left in the first period. 8-0, the score, the Havre Grace Warriors leading. Jackson, the takeaway. Fakes once, being pressured, gets it off. Deep downfield, it's going to be caught. Leaping catch. Looks like Tim Wilson.
That was Tim Wilson, and that was a leaping catch. The ball was thrown up for grabs.
Coach, we have a flag on the far side. Let's wait and see what that's all about.
I see that, Don, and it looks like it's going to come back.
Backfield motion again. That's the 3rd time we've had a big play called back just on a motion penalty.
Exactly, Don. We had 2 nice runs, both of which were over 15 yards, and there was about a 30-yard pass completion, all called back because of the motion penalty. But getting back to that play that time...
Look at Coach Tom Marin. Coach, excuse me 1 second. He is very upset at that call. He thinks that one was missed by the officials.
Well, whether he thinks it was missed by the officials or whether he's a little upset with his team, that's enough to make a coach upset. When you see about 60 yards of offense on 3 plays, and we saw that all come back because somebody couldn't go off on the right count. Now, you only have to go, the count's either 1, 2, or 3 in most cases, Don, so that's all he's asking his team to do.
This time a split backfield. Jackson back to throw without a fake. Has his man. That's Meads. That's, check it, that's Wilbur Ballard.
That's Ballard that time. That was a little screen pass out to the left side. Ballard made a nice play to pick up about 7 or 8 yards on that. He was hit shortly after he caught the ball and broke a tackle and then struggled forward for about 6, 7 yards.
Still 2nd down and 13. The Warriors have been back across the midfield stripe. They had gotten down to the 40. Those 2 penalties, though, had taken them back across midfield. Closing seconds of the first period, Havre Grace leading by 8-0. They scored on a 15-yard pass play. Jackson to Pressberry. Jackson ran in the 2-point conversion. The give to Mann, coming to the near side, cuts it back inside. Stangl to beat, but down he goes. Nice tackle in the open field by Ryan Stangl.
Nice tackle and open the field, but a nice gain on the play. It's about a 7 or 8 yard gain, and that was what us old timers call the old Green Bay sweep. They came out in a wing tee to the right, handed the ball off the man who was in the split back position, the tailback position, out of split backs, and he carried the ball behind the pulling guards around the right side, picking up about 7 or 8 yards. We got about a 3rd and 7 or 8 right now.
And Forrest, that puts them in a good position now where Jackson can use his ability either to scramble or throw the ball.
That's what I look to happen. They're going to give Jackson the ball, get him outside with the football,
Tight
give him a
formation.
chance to throw or keep it.
Nope.
And we got a penalty.
Tim Wilson jumped off again, 1, 2, or 3. He went on 2. The play was on 3, and it's going to cost him 5 yards.
And now we're looking at a 3rd and 12. Still, Billy Jackson's the type of player that can make this play for the Warriors. He'll get the ball and he'll take it outside somewhere, and they'll give him a run pass option situation here. But the Warriors got to quit making the mistakes that we've seen so far. They've left thrown a lot of big plays away just because their ineptitude to get off on the right count.
You know, Forrest, you're right. It's not only the cost as far as the penalty yardage, but it's the fact that they're bringing back these good long plays as the first period here does come to an end, and Havre Grace leading by 8-0.
Well, you're right, Don. Not only do you lose that yardage and you bring those good plays back, it kind of gives that Patriot defense kind of a second chance. And we all know in sports, if you give a team a second or a third chance, they're going to take advantage of that. And, you know, the Patriots, you may fool them one time, but if you throw that same thing at them a second or third or fourth time, they're going to adapt to it. And you hate to see a team make a big play and then have it called back and give that defense a chance to adapt, and that's what Havre Grace has done.
Forrest, the only thing, though, I look at the stats here at the end of the first period. John Carroll had the ball only 5 plays in the entire first period on offense. Their defense was on the field the entire rest of the ball game. What kind of pressure does that put on your team as hot and as humid as it is here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, Don, they cannot be successful and do that. The Warriors have too many big play people, too many skill people that are going to hit that home run, make that big play if they're on the field. You give a great athlete the ball X number of times on the field, he's going to make X number of big plays. And so what the Patriots have to do is keep the skill players, those real fine players like Billy Jackson, off the field for the Warriors. And the only way they can do that, the one sure way they can do that, is give their offense the ball and eat a lot of clock and move the football, and they haven't done that up to this point.
Well, we're starting here in the second period. Now the Warriors going from our right to our left. And again, dressed in their gold tops with the maroon uniforms, leading by 8-0 over John Carroll. Both teams 0-1, trying to get their records even. Jackson faking, back to throw, still has the ball, rolling toward the near side, being chased, but gets around the corner. He's got a lot of yardage to burn, cuts it back inside, and finally taken down. What a run by Bill Jackson. I mean, he turned that corner, he was gone.
Great run, Don. What he did that time, they came out in that wing tee to the right again. He faked a handoff to Al Mann, and he bootlegged the ball back around the left side. What really impresses me about Jackson, not only is his great speed, he does have great speed, there's no doubt about that, but he has great agility, and he reads real well and makes good cuts as he's running the football.
Looks like the ball about the 25-yard line. Cutting outside. That's Wilbur Ballard. Flag goes down again. Ballard goes out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Let's see what the flag was about. Looks like it's going to be a hold.
It could be a hold where it occurred, or either that or blocking behind from behind, Don.
Looks like they were pointing against the Warriors, and that'll erase another good gain.
It's a hold, Don.
Ballard has shown real good speed, and again, as we talked about his upper body strength, he turns that corner and lowers those shoulders. I tell you, I'm a little defensive back. I don't want to get in his way.
Well, one good thing that he does, Mann does, and Billy Jackson also does, is that all three skill people for Havre Grace have that ability to run and then turn that, give it that extra little spurt. And just about the time when one of the Patriot defenders comes up and is about to make a play, they put that little spurt on and are able to turn the corner.
I'm going to count yard markers. That's the only way I can do it. It looks like the ball's on about that would be the 40. Looks like it's almost on the 30-yard line. The 30-yard line of John Carroll.
30-yard line, Don.
Yep, and they've got to get all the way down inside the 10 to about the 9 for a first down. So it looks like they're going to come up first down and about 20, maybe 20, 21 yards to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's about that to me also, Don. But again, with the type of team they are, they can make that play almost any time.
But we're going to see some stats here in just a few minutes about all the penalty yardage that Havre Grace has suffered. But one more time, it's not only the yards that have been marked off, but it's the great plays that have been wiped out.
That's true, and I'll tell you what, that can be that can work very negatively on a football team when they do something right, they do something positive, then all of a sudden it comes back. It's all for naught.
You know what I like it too?
That happens often enough, Don. It gets to be a mental type thing for the football team.
Being a baseball guy by background, it's like getting men on base game after inning, but you're not scoring. The other team stays close, and you never put them away. And then there they are. The score is still 8-0. Havre Grace has had the ball for all but about a minute and a half of this ball game. Still, they've only scored one touchdown.
That's an excellent parallel, Don, and that's exactly what it feels like for a football coach and football players out there on the field.
11:28 left here in the first half. Havre Grace is leading. The give coming to the near side. That's John Sawyer. Sawyer's going to be hit and taken out of bounds by Ryan Stangl.
Sawyer's a slot back there. They came out in the slot right, Don, and they faked the ball to the two running backs going to the right and gave the ball back to Sawyer, the slot back coming around the left end behind a guard. And again, like the other skill players, he turned on a little spurt of speed and was able to pick up about 3 yards on that when it looked like the Patriot defenders had the angle on him.
Stangl, of course, the tight end. It's not often you see a tight end play free safety on defense.
No, it's not, Don. In fact, at 6'3", 200, you're more apt to see a player that size up in the linebacker position.
Jackson barking signals again. It's that spread formation. Back to throw without a fake. Being rushed. Cuts it inside. There he goes. Gets around one man. Beats another man. Cuts inside. Still on his feet. Billy Lort finally takes him off his feet as he gets down close to the first down marker inside the 10-yard line. Billy Jackson. I mean, superlatives, I just run out of them to talk about Bill Jackson.
Oh, you sure do, Don. Like I said, not only is his speed impressive, but I think what's more impressive is his agility and decision-making in running the football. That time, the Patriots, obviously, coaches have talked about contain men. They did not let Jackson get outside. The outside linebacker contained him. He pulled the ball down, ran up the middle, and made a tremendous broken field run, avoiding several tacklers to get the ball close to first down yardage.
And it is a first down. Billy Jackson picked up all the yardage plus another yard.
First down, Havre Grace.
The thing that's so amazing about that play, Forrest, and comment on it if you would, he was running to the near side of the field, and so the sideline was actually a partner for the John Carroll defenders, yet he was still able to get by them.
Well, that's, as we mentioned, Don, that comes back to his agility. Not only does he have that great speed, but he's able to run forward. And on that particular run, Don, 3 or 4 Patriots had a shot at him, but because of his agility and ability to fake, give a limp leg, and cut the other way, he was able to turn what most players would a 5 or 6, 7 yard gain for most players into a 20-plus yard gain for the Warriors, and a very important first down. And looks like they got about a 1st and 10 on about the 11 or 12 yard line, Don.
Yeah, they could get a first down at about the half-yard line, so that's another good mark for Havre Grace. The thing about Jackson on that play is he actually showed some strength, too. We talk about his agility and his ability to fake people, but he ran through a couple folks that time.
He sure did, Don, and I think a key point right here that we want to make, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier, was that whether Jackson can hold up. That time he got up from the tackle, and he showed some fatigue, and he was limping a little bit, and we're early in the second quarter. And
remember Jimmy Brown with the Browns used to limp back to the huddle and then just knock your head off the next play. Let's see if Jackson does it. Spread formation again. They give to Ballard. He's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage. The Patriots breaking through that time. It looks like number
Ballard on the carry for the Warriors.
Number 66 for the Patriots.
Why did that happen, Don? Simply for this reason. That's the first time that we saw that much penetration by John Carroll, and that was because they lined up in their normal defense that time, but they sent both inside linebackers on a blitz, and they just outnumbered the Warrior blockers. They sent 8 people that time, both outside, both inside backers.
That was
threw Ballard for about a 6-yard loss.
And that was Phil Smith. Let's give him credit. The big linebacker, 6'1", 235 pounds, that came in and made that tackle. A loss of about 7. Back to throw Jackson to the near side. Almost intercepted. In and out of the hands of the defender, Steve Basner on that side.
Tim Wilson ran a down and out that pattern. They were looking to get about 8-9 yards on the play, and Jackson threw the ball slightly behind him as he made his break, and the Patriots had a chance to pick that one off. Now we're in about a 3rd and 17, 18-yard situation here for a touchdown, Don, and I think we're going to see something here where Billy Jackson rolls out, is going to try to get him into that option situation where he has the ability to run or throw the football. They have a double slot to the left this time. So they're going to flood the left side.
Rolling left. He's going to keep the ball, and this time out of bounds against the fence here at Havre Grace. If you know anything about this field, you know that fence, and a flag goes down as Bill Lord and Bill Jackson go at one another. I'm not sure who got the flag, but both coaches have to be upset about that.
We may have a late hit here, Don. If we do, that's going to move the ball.
I don't think it was a late hit, Coach. I think it occurred with something that was said one way or the other, and I'm not sure who said what.
There was 2 flags thrown. We know that, so we don't know who it was on.
Let the officials sort it out. Gives us a chance to talk about the officials. That's Chuck Dowds, who's the referee. Larry Strouser is the umpire. They're calling unsportsmanlike conduct against the Havre Grace Warriors. So Billy Jackson, after he was draped over the sideline fence, then got up and perhaps said something, and if he did, that's going to cost the Warriors another big penalty. Kevin Gardner, the field judge. Charlie Feet is the line judge, and Mike Molesky, he's the back judge.
That time, the Warriors came out in a double slot to the left, and what that means for our fans, Don, is that they had a split end to the left and 2 backs in the slot position, and what they tried to do is flood the left side of the field. They sent the split end deep, and the other 2 people divided. One went down across the middle, the other one ran a down and out route. They crisscrossed, in other words. Jackson rolled to his left, had the option to throw to 1 of 3 receivers or keep the ball.
Farts, let me break in and ask you a question. They're showing 4th down on the far side, and that may be correct in that the flag may have been thrown after the play was over.
That's correct. It was after the play here. Now we have the same formation to the right, so Billy Jackson's going to roll to his right now.
4th, about 36 yards for the first down. Another flag goes down. He's being pursued by Bill Lort. Throws the ball on the run into the end zone. Up they go, incomplete. See what the flag's all about.
Incomplete. We have a flag on the play.
We have a couple well-thrown ball that time, Don. Billy Jackson threw that with a full head of steam. Up to now, he's been throwing the ball with a little wobble to it, but that had a good tight spiral and was thrown deep into the end zone. And actually, the Havre Grace receiver, and I don't know who that was, deep in the end zone that time, but had a shot at the ball.
Sure did. They're going to call backfield motion again.
Patriots will decline that, so they take over the football.
Well, the Warriors kept the ball, according to my count, for 6 minutes and 45 seconds. They had the ball for a total of 15 plays, Coach. Drove the ball from the 28-yard line, their own 28, down to the 11-yard line. They got that close and came away empty-handed again.
You're right, Don. There's something good and there's something bad about that. What's good about that kept that John Carroll offense off the field. What's bad about it, as you alluded to earlier with your illustration about baseball, they ate up a lot of clock, had many chances to do something, put points on the board, and came away with nothing.
9:41 left before the half. 8-0 Havre Grace. The give to the deep back. Gain of maybe 3 or 4. The runner's number 25, and unfortunately on my program, I don't have a number 25.
7 for John Carroll.
We'll just have to give number 25 credit for that, Coach. Some late changes here just before the game started. Flank to the near side is Andrew Quinn.
Okay, we have a pro set this time with a split end to the right and a flanker to the left with eye backs.
They give to the deep back again, and we'll just have to identify him as a deep back. We'll try to have someone find out who number 25 is for the John Carroll Patriots. Maybe somebody on the sideline will know who that is. We want to give him credit.
Down and 3 for John Carroll.
As we said, that was a pro set with eye backs, Don, with the tight end to the left side, and Well, it was just a good old-fashioned off-tackle play where the tight end blocks down with the tackle and the fullback kicks out on the outside linebacker or defensive end.
John Carroll yet to get a first down. They'd love to pick up a first down to keep this drive going. The give inside. It's going to be very close to the first down. Let's see where they mark the ball.
Well, it depends on the mark, Don. They needed about 2 yards on that play, and I think the effort of the fullback got the first down, but it's going to be close.
It's Abramitis, the fullback, who carried the ball, and it is a first down for John Carroll. First down of the ball game with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left before the half. But they still only trail 8-0.
Well, you're right, Don. Havre Grace has had many, many chances. I think they probably had as many yards of penalties as what they had yards of offense, and they've not been able to get on the scoreboard but once.
In the arms of big number 52, that would be Justin Thomas. Thomas, the sophomore, 6 foot, 188 pounds. Pickup of 2.
Again, we have I-backs that time. We had an off-tackle play run to the right side for pickup of 2 yards. What the Patriots need to do, this is the type of thing they need to do. Get that 3 and 4 yards to carry and try to maintain ball control.
Chris Nesbitt, the center. Brad Meerholtz, the quarterback. Gives right up the middle. That's Abramitis, and a flag down on the far side.
Fullback trap there, Don. Showed flow to the right side and gave to the fullback running off over the left guard. Right guard pulls and traps the defender for Havre Grace on the defensive right side. Pickup of about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Procedure call against the Patriots. I think they had one other penalty that Havre Grace declined. That may be the first penalty of the ball game against John Carroll.
Yeah, now we'll move it back. They'll accept that penalty and put us in a 2nd and 10 situation, I think, here. Maybe 2nd and 12.
Move the ball back to, it looks like, about the 40-yard line of John Carroll. Both teams coming to the ball game 0-1, both looking to equal their records here early in the season.
Even though they're both 0-1, Don, we might point out that both teams played pretty well last week and lost very close football games to their opponents.
High backfield, flanker to the left. Meerholtz back without a fake. Looking deep, throws it up. It's going to be just overthrown. Looking down on the far side for number 34, Jason Blevins.
He had a receiver open there, and he threw the ball out, led him just a little bit too much on that, Don.
Good arm by Meerholtz. He showed us that he has the ability to throw the ball out there. But as you said, just about 2 yards too tall.
Nice big quarterback, Don. He's 6'2". He can see well back there as he throws from the cup position. Threw a nice ball that time, just overshot his receiver by a couple yards, and he did have a receiver that was open.
He's only a junior too, and we saw him last year get a lot of playing time. So he comes into the season as a junior, but with experience. Flankers to the near side. Meerholtz on the give to the wingback. Another flag goes down. Breaking one tackle. That's Brian Barrett down the left sideline. He's almost breaking it. Let's see what the flag is all about. It was thrown in the backfield.
2 things, Don. That was a nice gain by Barrett, about a 25-yard gain. Now, they came out in a slot right position with Barrett being the slot back that time, and Barrett carried the ball back along the left side on a trap play. Barrett made a nice run, broke 2 or 3 tackles on the play.
Let's see what this is all about. Chuck Dowds comes back to refer with Mike Molesky. Holding a hold against John Carroll. That means the play will come back, and Brad Meerholtz not happy at all about it, trying to find out exactly who it was that held for his team.
Not only are they not happy about it, Don, but that gives that's kind of a little bit of what the Warriors have done the first quarter and a half so far. John Carroll gets feels a little bit of that sting there of picking up a big play and then have to see it all come back, all for naught.
When you do a misdirection kind of play like that wing-back play was, it's pretty easy to have a cracked back block or maybe a hold, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Don. What happens many times, the defender will turn his back on a play as he starts to go with flow, and then he sees what is developing. He goes to turn around, and as he turns his back, it's real easy for an offensive player to reach out and grab somebody.
Third down, about 25 to go. Meerholtz being pressured. Almost taken down. Down he goes. First man in, number 51, Brad Batherton.
Willis on the tackle for the Warriors.
Finishing job by number 62. That's Chris Willis, along with number 51.
Bratherton
Yeah, he was the first man.
linebacker.
He was the first man.
He was a middle linebacker, Don, and he shot a gap right there and didn't make the tackle, but he forced quarterback Merholtz to avoid that tackle, and the next man got him.
Stengel this time a nice kick coming out to midfield. Received there by Tim Wilson. Coming to the near side. Wilson cuts inside down to about the 40-yard line, where the Warriors will put the ball in play. First and 10. 6 minutes, 7 seconds left to go before the half, and they lead by 8-0.
Now, what I saw there, I saw the Patriot coverage that time, Don, adapt a little bit. Early in the game, they had not adapted to the Warrior speed. That time, they stayed spread in that punt coverage and contained that run back by Tim Wilson very well.
And of course, Stengel hung it up there for about 3.5 or 4 seconds, and that makes a big difference too. High backfield, receivers both ways. A fumble. Flag goes down also.
Flag on the play.
I think the whistle blew that time before the ball was snapped, Don.
See what the flag was all about. The fumble recovered by
Illegal
Havre
motion,
Grace.
I believe.
That's exactly what it is. Procedure call. That'll cost the Warriors 5 more yards back to the 45.
It'll be first down and 15.
I think the officials have more yardage tonight than any back on the field, Coach.
I believe you're right, and if you're Coach Tom Marin, because of all the procedure and motion calls, I think I'd tell my quarterback just to call everything on one, because if they don't go on one, somebody on that offensive unit moves or jumps offside.
Wilson, the flanker, to the far side. Man the deep back, he gets the ball. Check it, it's not man, but Ballard, he cuts inside. One man to beat. Dragging tacklers with him. Ballard all the way down to the 15-yard line.
Got a 40-yard gain, but it's going to come back on a motion call, I believe.
Another flag. Yep, it's going to be against the Warriors. They're going to bring it back.
We have illegal motion against the Warriors.
Well, Don, we're up here in the booth, and I don't want to be negative and talk about officials, but I think sometimes as an old coach, I'm probably a little bit prejudiced against officials to some extent. And at that time I watched very closely. I did not see motion. Of course, I'm not down on the field. Sometimes I know from a coach's standpoint, we saw Coach Marin get mad earlier, but from a coach's standpoint, sometimes you think officials are just looking for something to call instead of just letting the kids play the game.
Well, I'm glad you said it because I was going to say it, so now I'm not in trouble and you are.
Okay.
High backfield. Jackson back to throw. Rolling right, being chased, throws it in the grasp and incomplete. And the flag goes down again. My goodness.
Pass intended for 86 is
I don't know what flag could be. I think Bill Jackson is very upset, and they're going to call illegal grounding. No,
that's what they're going to call.
86 was in the vicinity.
Don, they called illegal grounding.
Matt Grissom was right there.
And I'm going to have to say that was a bad call.
How can the referee call grounding when he's back behind the play and the throw was up near midfield?
He was 20 yards away from the receiver. We don't have our official expert, Mr. Slagle, Bob Slagle, with us tonight, but I got to say he missed that one. Number 86 was an eligible receiver for the Warriors.
That's Matt Grissom.
He was within 5 yards of that pass.
Oh, well, it comes back, and it cost them 5 yards and a down. It'll be now second down, and if you look where the first down marker is, it's all the way up at the 30, and that ball, let's count yard markers. 40, looks like on the Havre Grace 30. Let me do my math right. That's 20, that's 40. Bring up second down and 40 yards to go.
That's about right, Don. Bad call. Hurt the Patriots that time.
Hurt the Warriors.
Warriors, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the wrong team there again.
High backfield, Jackson back to throw, being rushed. Contained this time, and down he goes. Good play. Double teamed by Mike McComas, number 83, along with Phil Smith, number 66, his second big play of the ball game.
I mentioned earlier on that punt coverage that the Patriots did a good job of containing Tim Wilson. That time they contained Jackson very well. It's obvious that the defensive coaches for the Patriots have told their defensive ends or outside linebackers, rather than come hell-bent for leather and run right at Jackson, to rush under control and soft rush, what we call soft rush, not come hard, but just contain him, keep him from getting outside.
As far as you think fatigue may be setting in also with Jackson?
Well, I don't think quite yet, Don. I think it's just as you can watch the Patriot defenders.
Oh, good screen pass. The man is wide open. He's going to pick up good yardage. 2 men to beat, and finally down he goes.
Call by that time by Coach Marin. Needed, like you said, about 40 yards. And when the Patriots were dropped off in their secondary looking for that long pass or that scramble, Coach Marin ran the screen pass, picked up about 15, 18 yards on the play.
Let me make one correction. We talked about the young man who was in the vicinity of the pass. That was Mario Sawyer earlier. And, of course, that was Grissom just there who picked up the good yardage on the screen pass. Well-conceived play by the Warriors, but they're still going to be way short of a first down. It'll be 4th down, about 30 yards to go for the first. They've got to get down to the 30. This is the 4-minute warning. Havre de Grace leading by 8-0. They've had the ball for every play of this half except for 10 plays. John Carroll's had the ball on offense, yet John Carroll only trails by 8-0. It's a deep punt formation, and the ball rolls back by Pressberry. Pressberry fumbles, and finally the ball still rolling around. John Carroll will have the ball deep in Havre de Grace territory at about the 10-yard line. The big break that John Carroll was looking for.
Well, you're right, Don, and I think you said it best. The Warriors have controlled the football. They've controlled the game offensively. They've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to score, and with the offense they've showed us tonight, they should have 3 touchdowns on the board, but penalties have kept them from breaking this game open, and now the Patriots got that big break they needed. Looks like they're down about the 10-yard line where they'll put the ball in play.
You don't want to snap from center like that. It's a tough thing for a punter in high school ball. He can't put his knee down because the ball is down there, so he tried to field it like a shortstop. Unfortunately, Cal Ripken doesn't have to field a ball which has points on it.
Well, that's true, Don. And the punter that time, I think, who was man, correct me if I'm wrong,
but
Pressberry. Pressberry, I'm sorry. He did what he was supposed to do. He tried to field the ball and actually did come up with it and then tried to run, but he got hit and refumbled the football.
Timeout for Havre de Grace as they send the coaches on the field trying to figure out a defensive deployment. Let's talk about momentum. Let's talk about all the feeling of frustration that Havre de Grace must be feeling. They've dominated the ball game, had the game in hand, but couldn't put it away, and now they're faced with John Carroll, a chance to tie the ball game here late in the half.
Well, you said the right word, Don, frustration, and that's exactly what it is. When you control the football game and like the Warriors have, and you do all the positive, good things they've done offensively, but see them all go for naught because of motion penalties, and then you make one mistake, and it gives the Patriots a chance to perhaps tie this game or at least get close before the half. And with the field goal ability of Stengel, I would say they're short of 3 points here if they don't cough the ball up or make a mistake. It's got to be frustrating. It's got to be something to concern your football team when you go in at halftime.
On the other hand, if I'm Bill Mackley and John Carroll, I have to realize that this Havre de Grace team has dominated the first half, and you have to have in the back of your mind, my goodness, we've been fortunate to be where we are now, and unless we can come up with something to change this momentum around, Havre de Grace has shown that they are the dominant team so far.
Yes, you're right, Don, but you said it best. They've squandered many opportunities, and that could come back to haunt them.
3:41 left in the half, 8-0, and now the officials back in the ball game. Looks like the line judge wasn't in position. TV game, huh, Coach? Everybody wants to get in the action. Meerholtz, the quarterback, barking the signals. Pitches back to our mystery man, number 25, skirting the left end. He drags one tackler and goes down inside the 5-yard line to about the 3. A couple of yards short of the first down, and again, John Carroll can pick up a first down without scoring.
Nice gain on that play, about 7 yards. The Patriots came out that time in a pro set with the flanker to the left, and they ran the pitch sweep to the tailback, number 25. We can't give you a name because we don't have that number on the program. And with a good crackback block from the flanker, they were able to pick up about 6-7 yards on the play.
Again, the give hit as he gets into the line of scrimmage. A nice tackle by Wilbur Ballard. Ballard showing that upper body strength to knock down the John Carroll ball carrier at the line of scrimmage.
Ballard was at end that time and came real hard and hit the right ball carrier before he was able to turn up into the hole. Good defensive play, and we're about a 3rd and 2 right now. We're in 4 down territory here unless Patriots try to go for the field goal, so they need to pick up about 2 yards on 2 plays.
Wide receiver to the far side is Tim End. Tight end is Stangl to the near side. The give inside, struggling for yardage. He's going to be down close to the first down. He's got to make it to about the 1 for a first down.
We're in a bad position right here to really see what type of defense that the Patriots are in, but they had a lot of people up on the line of scrimmage that time and had got good penetration and hit the ball carrier for John Carroll at the line of scrimmage. There was virtually no gain on that.
Timeout for John Carroll.
Coach Mackley, Don, here he's got a decision to make.
See, now I was going to ask you that. You're the coach, and I want to put you in his shoes. You've got Stangl, who's almost an automatic if you get the snap down as far as the field goal. Do you go for the field goal? You're only a half yard short of the first down and only about 3 yards short of the touchdown.
Well, they're about 1.5 yards, 2 yards for a first down, and with the ability for Stangl to kick the ball, looks like the football's in the middle of the field. I'll tell you, if you're Bill Mackley, you got to get some points right here. A field goal here and a touchdown, a 6-point touchdown later in the game, puts you ahead 9-8.
Yep.
And you know, it's a golden opportunity for the Patriots to get on the board. Whereas if they go for this on 4th down, the Patriots will just stop on 2 consecutive plays, and they may come away with nothing. And we talked about frustration for the Warriors early. If they come up with a big defensive play here and prevent this first down or this score, that's going to be a big lift for them.
I've got another surprise that John Carroll, I'm surprised, hasn't gone to Bill Lord anymore down here in this short yardage situation. The big fullback seems like to me the kind of guy, number 40. They even have the other fullback, Mark Abramitis, in there, and they haven't received the ball yet. It's been the little scat back who's gotten the ball.
They're going to go for it.
Let's see what Meerholtz comes up with. Inside, it's going to be close, and no sign yet.
I don't know, Don. I don't think he made it.
They can pick up a first down, remember. They don't have to score.
I don't think he made it. There wasn't much penetration there. It looked like maybe he got a yard.
And Havre Grace takes over on downs. The Warriors have held at the 1 yard line. 1:51 left in the half. Forrest, as you said, and now later in the ball game, this may come back to haunt Bill Mackley, but I'm going to think that Mackley says, look, we've got the big horses up front. If we can't pick up 1.5 yards, then we don't deserve to be in this ball game.
Well, you say that as a coach, Don. All of us who have coached have said that. However, Havre Grace had just proved on the previous 2 plays that they could stop the Patriots. They stopped them after the first down play, netted 7 yards. The Patriots were stopped for no gain twice in a row.
Jackson right up the middle to man. Let me ask you the other question. If you were Coach Tom Marin, would you run out the clock here, or would you try to score again?
I think what Marin's got to do right here is just run out the clock. He wants to run the ball 3 straight times. If you get the first down, great. If not, he's going to run out the clock and take that 8-0 lead in at halftime. He does not want to punt the football from inside his own 10-yard line, nor does he want a turnover down here.
That was Ballard, by the way, and not Mann with the run. He comes out of the ball game. Mann now in at the tailback.
Right now, you tell your ball carrier to hang on to the football and just run straight ahead and keep that clock moving.
2nd and 6, and Jackson goes down and just puts a knee down. And you're exactly right. It looks like Marin is content to run out the clock and go into the halftime leading by 8-0.
Ballard got 4 yards on first down. That gave Billy Jackson a little bit of room there, and he's just going to kneel down a couple times and let that clock run out.
40
Patriots
seconds
have used all their timeouts in the first half. They can't stop the clock.
Inside 30 seconds left in the first half. It looks like Havre Grace will go into the halftime leading 8-0. And we can say, well, they squandered opportunities, but of course, on the other hand, so did John Carroll when they got down inside the shadow of the goal line there just a few moments ago.
Well, we need to talk about that decision at halftime, Don, that the Patriots made down in that situation when we get more time. Billy Jackson just kneeled down again. It's 4th down now, but there's less than 10 seconds left in the half, and the Warriors will let the clock run out.
That will be our halftime score. Havre Grace leading here at Havre Grace High School on Monday Night Football. Harford County High School variety brought to you on the Harford Cable Network. 8-0 over by Brown, and Brown. Also brought to you by BGE and also brought to you by Upper Chesapeake Health System. We're going to take a break here and we'll come back with all the halftime activities. We'll bring you some stats and also we'll talk to some folks here at halftime and recap the game so far. We'll come back and do that right after this. And by BGE. Forest Weeks, we're here at halftime. The Warriors leading by 8-0 over John Carroll. We've said it many times that Havre Grace has had the chance to be far ahead. Let's look at some of the stats when we have a chance. The entire John Carroll stats, I can tell you, 37 yards. Total offense for the first half. Meerholtz was 0 for 3 passing. Trapani picked up 3 rushes, 15 yards. Arbormitis had 3 rushes. Man, thanks to the officials, we have his name. His name is Scooter Monroe, number 25, 12 yards in 4 carries, and that's it. Look at Havre Grace. Bill Jackson, passing 6 for 11, 62 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, rushing 7 times for 72 yards, and of course he picked up the 2-point conversion. His touchdown pass, of course, going to Damon Pressberry, 2 catches for 20 yards plus the touchdown. John Sawyer, 1 catch for 19 yards. Total offense for Havre Grace, 176 yards. They got 62 passing offense, and the rest, of course, 114 rushing. So they've won the battle of the line of scrimmage as far as offense is concerned, but they haven't been able to dent the score except for that one time.
Right, Don. That 162 yards, we could have about doubled that if it wasn't for the penalties. The Warriors probably picked up at least 100 yards of total offense more than what the statistics show, but due to that illegal motion or illegal procedure call and a couple other calls that during the first half, a lot of big plays were negated by the Warriors. You know, we saw an opportunity by the Patriots right before the half where they had a 4th and 2, and we said with a kicker like Stengel, that might be a golden opportunity to kick the field goal and at least get on the board. And what John Carroll elected to do in that situation on a 4th and 2 was go for it. They were stopped for no gain, and a lot of that frustration that the Warriors had experienced the first half was turned around as momentum on that big goal line stand. What I questioned was when 2nd and 3rd down, needing 2 yards, the Patriots got nothing, and yet they tried to run the ball a 3rd consecutive time into the interior of the line, getting nothing again against the goal line stand by the Warriors. And
line.
That was Damon Pressberry, who was pressed into duty there on the 4th down call. We're watching Billy Jackson here on the sidelines trying to stretch it out.
If I'm Tom,
it's humid here tonight. Is that cramp going to go away, Coach, or is it going to come back?
well, he can work that cramp out, but if I'm Tom Marin now, I maybe put somebody else in on defense and let my star offensive player just play one way.
Right up the middle for John Carroll.
We got an 8-8 game. The Patriots have been inclined
On the carry for the Patriots.
to run the ball a lot inside. They have not moved the ball that well during the game, and we know that the Warriors are going to go as far as Billy Jackson can carry them. So if I'm Marin, I rest my my quarterback right now and utilize him on offense with the score being 8-8.
That was Trapani on the gain, about 2 yards on 1st down, 2nd and 8. Ball inside the 40-yard line of John Carroll. Meerholtz still has the ball, cuts it inside. It'll pick up short yardage, maybe up across to about the 38-yard line. Let's count those yard markers. Looks like the 34-yard line now as we recount the yard markers. 3rd and 6, and the big play coming up for John Carroll.
Well, let's look, a couple things we might look for in this situation, Don, is Patriots have showed a lot of success with Barrett carrying the ball in that trap play back around the left side. We might see that again. We also might see Meerholtz drop back or roll out and try to find an open receiver here.
And Stengel hasn't caught a pass tonight, I do believe. This time the pass is complete for a 1st down, but a flag down on the near side. Looks like the pass went to the far side to number 82. That would be Tim End.
I think that's going to come back. I believe that was movement by the Patriots there, although I'm not sure. The pass play that time was to the flanker, and it was what we call a quick look-in or a slant pattern, where the receiver comes off the ball about 2 steps and then angles across the middle. Meerholz was right on target with his throw, hitting the receiver right between the numbers, and it would have been good for the first down.
Still don't have an indication of what the penalty's all about, but let's let the officials call it.
Did he say illegal receiver downfield, Don?
He was tapping his head, and it looked like that may have been the call.
I think that was the call.
They're going over to the John Carroll side, are the officials. You normally don't see this when they go talk to the coach. Usually that means he's not sure of his call, or at least he wants to explain to Bill Mackley exactly why he made it. We're waiting for the officials to call it. That should have been enough for a first down, and would be if the play stands.
Well, it was, Don. It was a first down. It was a well-conceived play, the little slant or look-in across the middle. Meerholz takes 2 quick steps back, straightens up, and drills the ball to his receiver that time. Good enough for the first down, and it was a first down. And we'll see what the call is, but I think it was against the Patriots.
It's coming back. Noticing on the sidelines that Tim Wilson, sitting on the sidelines being talked to by some of the coaching staff of Havre Grace. He looks like he's a little bit shaken up. Billy Jackson looks like he's okay for the time being. But as you surmise, Tom Marin is leaving Billy Jackson out of the ball game. Notice Jackson still grabbing the back of his leg. It could be a hamstring pull too, Coach. It might be a cramp, but it also could be a little bit of a hamstring.
Well, you're right. It could be a hamstring. The reason I think it was a cramp, I noticed it the play before where he got up a little gingerly, and I believe it's just a cramp because of the heat and humidity.
It's like third down, about 11 to go for the first down.
And there's the
inside handoff. That's Barrett. Barrett is going to have the first down and more. One man to beat, and he finally goes down, crossing midfield to about the 45-yard line. Big play by Brian Barrett. He's a 6'1" senior, 190 pounds for John Carroll.
That was that same trap play we've seen two other times, Don, where Barrett lines up in the slot position on the right side. The tailback and fullback run to the right. They give the ball to Barrett, coming back to the left, following his guard, and every time he's run that tonight, he's gained 10
ball game for Havre Grace. I think Tom Marin senses that this is here. They've tied it now 8-8. We're midway of the third period at Havre Grace. John Carroll versus the Warriors. Meerholz, good fake, gives up the middle, and a flag goes down. What else is new? Brian Trapani picked up about 5 or 6 late flag. See what the line judge has to say about that.
Well, I think you're right, Don. Coach Marin got Wilson and Jackson both out of the ball game for about 5 or 6 plays, give them a little bit of rest. But after that 20-yard run by Barrett for the Patriots, he needed to get his good players back in there. And now that the ball's down in Warrior territory, he did just that.
And this against Warriors, I didn't catch that penalty. He touched his heart. Now I'm not sure exactly what that call is. We'll have to wait and let him call it. Declined. I'm not sure what that penalty is, Coach. Are you familiar with that call? He touched his left chest.
I'm not familiar with that. We need Coach
Bob
Slagle up here, our official par excellence, up here to interpret that one for us.
Well, it was declined anyhow, so we don't have to figure out what it was. It will be a second down, a gain of maybe 7 or 8. John Carroll on the move now.
I'd like to have him up here tonight anyway. I wanted to ask him about that grounding call.
Well, we'll ask Bob Slagle. We'll have a chance to see him next week, and Bob will interpret the grounding call for us. Bob always is very diplomatic. He's an official from way back, and he figures out a way to kind of put the velvet glove on the officials as far as saying what was wrong. You and I, as an old coach that you are, and myself just a fan of the game, we're able to say some things about those officials. But let's retract just a little bit to say that these guys do a wonderful job. They don't get paid a whole lot for doing it. They do it for the love of the game, and you know it's my opinion, your opinion. Actually, they're the ones on the field that are closer to the play.
Yeah, you're right about that, Don. Like the athletes out there play for fun. They're out there in most cases twice every weekend, not only Friday night but many times Saturday afternoon, working high school football games, and without them, fans couldn't enjoy the sport that we're now watching.
Well, second down, a yard to go. The ball inside the 40-yard line of Havre Grace, and they jump offside to the Warriors. That'll cost them 5 and a first down. Here at Havre Grace tonight, that we have a lull in the action. Let's thank the athletic director, Kathy Graybeal. Wonderful job helping us get settled here and have everything in place that we needed. Principal James Bennett couldn't have been more hospitable to us. Rich Holly, the whole staff here, Coach Tom Marin. Just thank everyone for allowing us to come to their school, go to all the extra trouble, put up a extra scaffolding for our cameras, and made everything work for us, Coach.
Well, they sure did, and we appreciate that. Without their help, we just couldn't do it.
First down. The give to Barrett. Barrett off the left side, following Bill Lord, picks up another 5 yards.
Now, one thing that we've seen a lot late in the second half, wonder why we maybe didn't see it on that 4th and 2 situation, but late in the second half and in this third quarter by the Patriots, instead of the I backfield, which we saw for the most part during the first half, we've seen a full house backfield. That means 3 backs in the backfield for the Patriots, and Barrett has been carrying the football a lot more.
Back to the I backfield, though, this time. Flanker to the near side. The give is to the deep back, Barrett. Barrett, another good gain. It could be a first down across the 20-yard line. Trapani, you think it is, number 23 rather than number 22?
Yeah, Barrett was in the slot that time, Don.
All right, let's get our glasses on. Yep, you're right. That was Trapani who picked up the good gain off the left side. With the timeout, timeout for the Warriors. Looks like the fatigue is beginning to worry the Warriors here.
Well, you know, this game is starting to go the way we thought it would go right from the get-go. Right from the beginning of the game, we looked for John Carroll to sustain the ball, control the football, move the ball down the field, eat up a lot of clock and a lot of first downs, and they've done that this third quarter.
3:43 left in the third period. It wasn't a timeout. It was a timeout just to readjust the markers. I believe that was Barrett that time off the left side. A gain of maybe 2 or 3 on first down. Brian Barrett, he's really come alive here in the second half. Picked up good yardage on first down, maybe a couple of yards.
Barrett's a big back, Don. He's 6'1", 190 pounds, and he runs with a lot of power, hard man to bring down. He's been impressive this third quarter carrying the football.
High backfield again, flanker to the near side. That's Bill Lord right up the middle. Short yardage, that'll bring up a third down, maybe 5 to go. John Carroll took this ball when the Havre Grace Warriors were stopped on 4th down, deep in John Carroll territory, about John Carroll's 39-yard line. They've driven it now in a drive that's consumed about 5.5 minutes, and they've taken it all the way down inside the 25-yard line. Big down here, though, third and about 6.5, maybe 7 yards to go. What do you do, Coach?
It's a big play right here, Don. Let's look for a pass play right here.
That's
maybe we'll see that. We'll see that slant pass perhaps here that we saw earlier for a first down, but it was called back.
Meerholtz back to throw, rolling left. Looks like he's going to keep it. Out of bounds. A flag is down.
Flag on the play.
Flag thrown by the back judge.
That was a run all the way, Don. Meerholtz took that handoff, rolled to his left. He had no idea about throwing the ball. It was a run the whole way. He was going to run that quarterback sweep, and he would have picked the first down up.
Barrett made a good. Let me ask you now, a big decision here. It was short of a first down. It'll bring up a 4th and maybe 3 or 4, but it's a holding penalty, which would rack them up 15 yards. What would you do?
I think in this case, Coach Marin's going to take the penalty. It's a long penalty. 10-yard penalty. He's going to put him in a situation where it's going to be, instead of 3rd and about 6, it's going to be 16 yards. And maybe not quite that much, but close to that. And with the speed and the penetration type defense the Warriors have, they're going to try to make a play right here.
Well, that's exactly what Tom Marin has done. It's 3rd down, about 14 yards to go. The ball inside the 30-yard line. Ball game coming up. Lord is the up back, along with Barrett, the deep back. Meerholtz takes it away without a fake. Short pass to Lord, very, very little. That is, again, Barrett.
That was a straight drop back action, and a screen pass was set up to the left side, but our man read that play the whole way and hit Barrett as soon as he caught the ball. And now we got a 4th down and about 20. We're about
Looks like
on
the ball's
about
on
the
the
30-yard line
just
here.
About the 30. We hate to be guessing, but there are no yard markers here at Havre Grace, none that you can really discern. And so it gets to be kind of a good guess as where the ball is. I'm surprised here, 4th down and looks like maybe 20 yards to go, and they're going to go for it. Now John Carroll calls timeout. Meerholtz wants to go over and talk to Bill Mackley and see exactly what he wants to do.
Well, you're right,
I think
Don.
I'd have to have Ryan Stangl punt this ball away.
Well, perhaps, Don, in this situation, like you say, we're on about the 30-yard line. Add the 10 yards of the end zone, that makes about 40 yards. You might even try a field goal in this situation. We saw Stangl hitting field goals from around 40 yards in practice. Although it's a bit much here, it's not beyond his range if he really gets a hold of the ball. However, I think in this situation, rather than put pressure on a young man like that, Mackley's going to come up with an offensive call here. And what I look for is some type of a spread formation. On 3rd down, he went to the screen, so I don't think he'll go back to that, but I think he's going to spread the field, run some people deep, and let Meerhoff drop back and see if he can hook up with one of the deep receivers. Might as well air it out and see what you can get. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by throwing the deep pass here, Don, because if you hook up, you could score, and if you don't, you don't lose anything.
And an interception is almost like a punt. We have 1 minute and 16 left here in the 3rd period. 8-8 is the score. John Carroll and Havre Grace back to throw. Meerholtz looking deep, good protection. As a man, it's going to be incomplete, out of bounds. That was Barrett on the deep side. Looked like Timmy Wilson may have gotten a little bump there, but it was out of bounds anyhow, and the officials very wisely did not throw the flag. So Havre Grace will take over at about their own 37-yard line.
Basically what we said happened, and really was no lose situation for the Patriots. Meerholtz had the opportunity to air it out. You get a chance to score. If you don't make it, which they didn't, Havre Grace takes over on their own 30-yard line, 70 yards away from pay dirt. Now let's see if that
Jackson is back in at quarterback.
Let's see if that cramp resurfaces or not, Don.
They give us to Mann, the deep back. He's going to pick up maybe 4 or 5 on 1st down.
That's been a good play all night for the Warriors. That isolation or blast play up off the right side. They've only run it to the right side between their right guard and right tackle, but they picked up 5-10 yards almost every time they've run it.
Check it, instead of 36, it's 20 Wilbur Ballard, as Ballard picked up the 5-yard gain on 1st down. Ball at about the 35-yard line. Havre Grace is 35. The give right up the middle. Very little happening as John Carroll, the white-shirted Patriots, stormed in and knocked down the ball carrier just as he hit the line of scrimmage.
You know, we've been talking all night about Ballard and Mann carrying the ball, but on that isolation play that I mentioned that's going so well, we've got to give a lot of credit to number 28, and that's Dwight Rabb. He's the fullback, and he's got a real key block on that play because he leads the tailback, whether that is Ballard or Mann, through the line and picks up the linebacker.
And let me give credit on the other side. It was Phil Smith who made that tackle again. Big number 66 for John Carroll.
Third quarter with a score. Havre Grace 8, John Carroll.
Smith has been on a lot of plays as the 3rd period comes to an end. Smith, 6'1", 235 pounds. He's just a junior. He's the guy that has done a real good job for John Carroll defensively. 8-8, coach, as we go to the 4th period. Again, everything we hoped it could be. We get down to the 4th period, the last 12 minutes of the ball game. It's anybody's game at this point.
You're right, Don. It is anybody's game at this point. And
Jackson, of course.
backs and run that isolation play off the right side between the right and made about
Jackson to throw, complete to Wilson. Wilson eludes the first tackler and is still on his feet, and a flag goes down, and Wilson is still on his feet. Down the sideline, jukes one man, goes into the end zone for the touchdown. Now let's see what the flag is all about. It is a touchdown.
I think
9 minutes, 41.
That flag's got to be against the Patriots because the only people there were the Patriot defenders.
Face mask against John Carroll, and it will be declined. And it's a touchdown for Havre Grace. They go ahead now by 14-8 with 9 minutes and 3 seconds left in this ball game.
Actually, that time Wilson caught the ball for about a 6-7 yard gain. About 40 yards for the score, breaking another tackle on the way. Fine effort by Wilson.
2-point conversion attempt. Jackson, the quarterback, rolling right, pitches it out to Mann, but Mann is going to be hit and stopped, and that'll keep the score at 14-8.
That was the option play again, Don. They ran the option play to right that time. Jackson elected to. Defenders, they hit Wilson hard, but they two defenders hit him from either side, and the shock that you receive as a ball carrier was absorbed by the two defenders. Wilson bounced off, and to his credit, he made two nice moves going down the sideline. Second one to avoid a tackle and then go untouched the last 15 yards for the score.
Well, Forrest, of course, this is a great ball game, and we have 9 minutes left of it. Switch back to Havre Grace.
Yeah, the moment.
Much more evenly matched game. Both teams have had chances to put the game away, especially Havre Grace, but here we are in the fourth period. It's the Warriors leading by 6 points. Still plenty of time, 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. Meerholtz fakes once, now throws long, has a man, it's going to be incomplete. Barrett diving for the ball, good defense.
The ball back in good position.
Stengel gets off a wobbly kick. Taken on the run, nice catch by, looks like Mann. Checking, no, it's number 28, Rab. Rab caught it on the run at the 45-yard line. I know as a coach, Forrest, you wouldn't want to see your player do that, but he got away with it.
He got away with that, and there's nothing wrong with coming up and catching the ball in the air like that. In fact, as a coach, you want him to do that, but you hope that he gives that fair catch signal, which is the waving of the right.
The ball on the 41-yard line of John Carroll. They're 59 yards away from what could be the winning touchdown.
If that clock's right, they got time. However, Meerholtz is going to have to mix the pass in a little bit with the run in this situation.
Rolling right, Meerholtz throws the ball, has his man, that's Stengel. Stengel is going to be hit and taken off. The flanker to the near side. Barrett, the deep back, he gets the ball off the right side. Check it, no, it's Scooter Monroe, and out of bounds goes Scooter Monroe after a gain of about 15 yards. .346 on that clock. First down and 10, the ball at the 40-yard line of the Warriors. Barrett, the deep back, Lort, the up man, he gets the ball. plowing ahead for about 5 yards.
Then you got to maybe go to a blitz and try to do something defensively to make yourself a big play.
Mix up in the backfield, Barrett with the ball. It was the wing back coming. Monroe, he falls down. Again, a mix up in the backfield.
Out, maybe to this side. No, he's going the other
rolling
way.
the other way. Throws the ball. Has Stangl. He has it. Down the sideline he goes.
He's out of bounds.
No, they're saying out of bounds. What a catch by Stangl.
For John Carroll, 1st and 10 for the Patriots.
It'll be 1st down and 10. What a play by Stangl as he caught the ball, tried to stay in bounds, but went out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. And he showed us that speed that we were told.
Jackson center for Stein.
Formation, we could see a run here. They got to mix things up. They got
1:41 left.
Pitch
Here comes
sweep.
the run. Monroe, one block. Timmy Wilson, he gets by him and out of bounds he goes. Inside the 10, and if it is, that'll be another 1st down.
He's close to a 1st down, Don.
1:33 left in this game. It's going to be close to a 1st down.
1st down.
As John Carroll is driving on the 10-yard line inside the 10, 1st and goal. Stangl, the give to Monroe, has Lord in front of him, cuts it outside, one man to beat is Jackson, and Jackson throws him out of bounds inside the 5-yard line at about the 4.
Now the
line, 2nd down and goal. The give is to Monroe off the right side. Let's see, touchdown, John Carroll! 51 seconds left in the ball game. A big touchdown for Scooter Monroe. It looked like he was stopped, but he kept squirming and got into the end zone. And now we have the tie ball game, and here it is. It's what it's all about. Rob Stangl in to add the extra point undoubtedly, but it takes, Coach, as you know, a good snap, a good place, a good block, and a good kick. 4 good things have to happen.
And it's there's a lot of pressure in this situation.
Skin part of what was like a grassless area. There's the snap. It's good. It's down. It's up. It is.
Good.
Good. 15-14. We had to wait until the officials called it, but it snuck in on the near side of that upright. 15-14. 51 seconds left in this game. John Carroll has taken the first lead of the night.
You're correct, Don, and they did it the way we thought that they would do it the whole game, and that was take the football and march it down the field, maintaining ball control and getting good positive yards.
Ground. No, it's a line drive into the air. That's Sawyer with the ball on the far side. Jukes one time, cuts it outside. No, he's taken out of bounds. Looked like he was about one step from breaking it on the far side. Still with 43 seconds left. That'll give Jackson a chance to throw the ball at least 4 times.
Well, Jackson's going double slot formation, Don.
Jackson to the near side. Wilson drops it. In. Lateral. That could happen as well. Jackson back to throw. Good protection. Now it breaks down, and down he goes. Bill Lork breaks through. A loss on the play of about 15 yards.
Backfield, timeout.
Okay, again, we had the soft rush early in the first down and give Billy Jackson company a couple more plays.
Back to throw Jackson. Throws a short one. Off the fingertips of Ballard. Two last week and now two more this week. What a victory for the John Carroll Patriots. And Coach, you've been on the losing end of some ball games, and you know what a crushing defeat, having lost 2 weeks in a row, by last week by 2 points, this week by 1 point.
On the last play of the game, we might add, or in the last seconds of the game. It's got to be a heartbreaking loss for Coach Marin and the Warriors. Billy Jackson couldn't do anything there but just throw the ball up. And of course, it was intercepted.
That is the ball game. John Carroll celebrates on the far side.
On the other side of the coin, you got to add it to the Patriots, because a team that was dominated the way they were in the first half, it was real easy to say, hey, we're on a visitor's field. They're completely dominating the game. You know, there's no way we can do this. They came back and they played that good, hard, rock'em sock'em John Carroll football in the second half, took control of the game, had two nice scoring drives to win the ball game tonight.
You know, it's the old cliche, there are no losers on the field here, and absolutely there are not. This is one whale of a high school football game. It's what high school football is all about. Two teams laying it on the line just for the glory of their team. And now that tradition that sometimes isn't too wise, but here you see them shaking hands on the field, congratulating each other, led by Stangl, who you saw patted Billy Jackson on the back of the helmet. What a wonderful game, what an exciting game, and I mean, what else are you going to say? It's exactly what we want to see on Harford County High School football.
Well, I'll tell you what, Don, I'm going to ask you to order up about 8 more like this the rest of the year. I don't think we could ask for a more exciting football game. Saw two teams, one that was a big play team, a team that could make a touchdown on any given play, dominate the game. We saw another team that was a ball control team come alive in the second half, make some key adjustments, especially defensively and containing Billy Jackson, and then offensively controlling the football and just going right down to the wire. I mean, you can't tune in ABC and see a better game than this.
Well, let's recap the scoring. The final score, of course, 15-14. John Carroll wins the ball game. Havre Grace led at the half by 8-0. They had scored in the first period. Pardon me, that on a pass play from Billy Jackson to Damon Pressberry of 15 yards, a 2-point conversion. Jackson ran it in, and they led, did the Warriors 8-0, 6-18. As you can see, Bill Mackley being showered by the water on the far side as John Carroll celebrates. So it was 8-0 with 6:18 left in the first period. As we told you, the Warriors dominated that first half, 147 yards to 37, but they could only score that one time. So it was 8-0 at the half. John Carroll in the second half came out on a 62-yard drive, capped by a 32-yard run by Barrett. Barrett also added the 2-point conversion, and so it was 8-8 at that point. But then late in the third period, Billy Jackson to Wilson,